Here is how you can add a new record using Entity Framework. So this application is very simple. It is an application to track students. So here we have a student class, and you can see student can have an ID, name, age, city, and is active. We have our DB context class. So this class we call the school context. It derives from DB context, so it can get a lot of built-in functionality. And then we've got the student CB set, which is the table in the database. Here we have some configuration for our SQL Server. Previously we used SQLite database, but this time we are using a local SQL Server with a database of school. We're using a trusted connection, so basically using our Windows login to use the SQL Server we have installed. So here we can see our SQL Server table, and you can see we currently have 3 students within this table, and we want to add a 4th student over here. So in this instance, here what we're going to do is we're going to create a new instance of our student class. We are then going to add the properties. So name would be Judy, age 20, city Oslo, and we're going to set Judy's status as active. Then we got 2 options. One which is we can add Judy. So notice here we're using our connection using the students table. So that's the student DB set, and we're going to add a new student, which is an instance of the student class, which has all the relevant properties that our database expects to receive. And then we are going to use the connection save changes. Now this one is the sync version, which is it happens and it may freeze up your user interface. And then we have async version, which doesn't cause any freezing of your application. So what we'll do is we will use the async version. So we have commented out those lines, and now what we are going to do is we're going to run our application. Then our application has finished running. So let's have a check in the database if the new student have been added. So we had 3 students. So if we now just execute this query again, then what we find is we now have 4 students. We can see Judy to have been added on with the information that we supplied. Notice here this additional column in the database that is not actually used in our C# application. So it is very easy to add a new record into your database using C#. And you can imagine using this technique to grab data from a user interface and then adding it to your database. You can use the async version of the methods to prevent your application from freezing.